material, you will need 24 peg loom, 2 balls of yarn, a knitting hook, and a pair of scissors. To begin, I'm going to go ahead and make a slip knot, and I'm going to do this by lining up my 2 strands of yarn. I'm going to wrap them around my finger twice, and I'm going to play leapfrog and play one over the other. Then I'm going to hop the other over the other, pull my index finger through, and pull the tail of the yarn so it tightens the knot. I'm going to place this on my central knob of my peg, and I'm going to pull the 2 ends so it stays tight. Let me do this one more time. So I'm wrapping around my index finger twice, playing leapfrog twice, pulling one through, and then tying the knot, and then putting on the central knob. This is completely optional. You don't have to do it. It just helps me. Then, to begin to E-wrap, I'm going to go ahead and choose a direction. You can go right or left. It's up to you. I'm going to the right, to the right, to the right. No, wait, that's to the left, to the left. Anyway, then I'm going to wrap each peg in a clockwise direction. I'm going to start at the back of the peg, and I'm going to move around the front to the back. So it's back, front, back method is what I call it. It's also called an E-wrap. Like I said, you're just literally wrapping each peg from the back to the front to the back in a clockwise direction. You'll notice I'm pinching the yarn between my index finger and thumb, and then my back fingers are just resting there. Just kind of helps control the flow of yarn. I am using 2 strands of yarn today because these are medium weight yarns. If you have a very thick, bulky yarn, I suggest using just 1 strand. Those are the easiest to knit with, and if you have 2 thinner yarns, you can use 2 to even 3 strands of yarn. Now I'm just going to wrap it around the central knob one. Sorry, I got off camera here. And then the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to place my fingers inside the loom, and I'll place each finger between each peg, and I'm literally just going to pull down on them. Now my fingers are small, so if you need to, you can go from the outside of the loom and pull down on them so they come down to the bottom, but because my fingers can fit between the looms, I'm going in and just pulling them up. There's my cat. and I'm just pulling them down and going around. Okay? So now all your loops should be down at the bottom. Now I'm going to E-wrap, as I mentioned, or back front back, whatever you want to call it, again. So I'm just taking my yarn and I'm just going to go to the next peg. See? Just going to the next peg. You'll see there'll be a little piece of yarn connecting the 2 right there. See, I'm pointing at it. And that's fine. But now I'm just going to E-wrap on the top of the peg. So don't move these down or anything, don't touch them, just E-wrap on the top. So as you do this, there should be a set of loops on the bottom of the loom and also on the top of the loom. And that's fine. Once again, it's the exact same E-wrap method that we did before, where you're going counterclockwise from the back to the front to the back. Really, really simple. Sorry, my little yarn tail's getting in the way. And then once I've just gotten to that last peg, I'm just going to pull the yarn down and pull it around the central knob once, and then I like to put my thumb over the yarn just kind of as a safety guard so it stays there. Then the last peg that I E-wrapped, I'm going to go ahead and knit off, and I'm simply taking the loops from the bottom and putting them over the top. The reason why I do this is now my yarn can't unravel, and we'll talk all about more of this in a second. So all I'm doing is taking the bottom loops and placing them over the top. Let me show you. See, there's these little grooves in the loom, so you're just going to pull it over the top, alright? Let me show you again. So I'm just taking my hook, pulling it into the loom, pulling it up, and pulling it over each peg. See how I'm doing that? It's what I call knitting off. You're literally just pulling each set of bottom loops over the top. Just the bottom over the top. Don't touch the tops. They're just going over the tops. You'll notice that there is a little loop over each peg. See, like that one. But once I go to do the next one, it tightens itself. So don't worry about that. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. Once again, I'm going to do the same step where I'm going to take my fingers in the loom and bring the bottom loops down to the loom. Just bringing the loops down to the loom. Then, once again, I'm going to go ahead and E-wrap, just same as we did before. I'm just going to E-wrap on the top of each peg. Once again, going in a clockwise direction. I'm trying not to confuse you, and it's not working out well. Clockwise direction around the loom. Once again, doesn't matter which direction you go. If you start at the left side of the loom or the right side, does not matter. It will not affect how the knitting looks at all. If one row you E-wrap to the left and then the next row to the right, it's not going to make it look funky. Don't worry. Knitting is really easy in that sense. Then, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to knit off. Now I'm going to take my knitting hook if I can get it, and I'm just gonna lift those 2 bottom loops and place them over the top. You're just gonna pick them up and put them over the top. I have a video that shows you how to make a hat. This video will go over more basics of just how to loom knit in general, but we kind of are going to make a hat. So if you want to see that video, I'll link it below. It kind of is like this video, but it shows you how to make a brim and how to change colors a little bit better and stuff like that. So I'll link that below. Definitely check that out, because if you're still confused after watching this video, that video should help clear things up and vice versa. Anyway, I'm just continuing to put my bottom ones over my... And I'm just finishing up taking my bottom loops and placing them over my top for this row. And you can go ahead and see the knitted stitches there. I'm kind of pointing them out to you. You can see we're making progress. Woo! So as you're knitting and stuff like that, hopefully you shouldn't have too many problems with the E-wrapping portion by this time. You can see I'm holding my hand in all different positions. Whatever's most comfortable for you, really anything will work. If you do notice that after you knit for a while, the loops seem to unravel like you just saw there. Quick tip is to E-wrap and then put your thumb on top of that E-wrap. See? E-wrap, thumb, E-wrap, thumb, E-wrap, thumb. I can't go that fast. That really will help the loops from unraveling and coming entirely off the loom. So that's just a quick trick. So we knitted a lot. That was quick, right? Magic of editing. So I've knitted a lot now, so I'm going to take that original slip knot I had on my central knob. I'm going to pull it down through the loom. And then ready for this? Pop! There it goes. Done. Alright, here's just a quick tip. If your yarn is going all over the place, put it in a ceramic bowl like I did here with a little bit of a lip, or take a Ziploc baggie, put your yarn balls inside, make a slit, and then pull the yarn through. It's a really easy, convenient yarn carrier, and the yarn balls will never go all over the place. Now, I'm going to briefly show you how to change colors. This is totally optional, but if you want to know, here's how you know. Just cut the color of yarn that you're working with at about 3 or 4 inches from the loom after you finished a row. Then I'm going to take my next color of yarn, and I'm just going to tie a big old knot between the two. So see, I've just lined up my 2 colors, and I'm just going to tie a big knot between these 4 strands of yarn. Alright, once I've tied that knot, I'm just going to make it really, really tight and as close to the loom as possible so it doesn't look too obnoxious. And then I'm just going to begin to start a new row by E-wrapping with this new yarn. And there's another cat interruption. You will notice that there's a little bit of a yarn tail from where you cut off the yarn and tied on, but you're not really going to notice it. It's not a big deal. You can always cut it off at the end if it bugs you. It does look funky that the top set of loops is white and the bottom set of pink. I promise it will not make the knitting look funny at all. I swear it won't. Once again though, if you don't want to change colors of yarn, because I would suggest the first time you knit that you don't, so that it's easier, just skip this step, just omit this step and just keep on knitting. It's totally optional. It's just if you run out of yarn and you need to know, oh, what do I do? How do I put on a new color? Here's how you do that. Now I'm just knitting off. I know it looks funky, but it's not going to look funky later. Once again, another magical editing moment. Now you can see I've knitted a lot of the white, and you can see how clean that transition from the pink to the white is. So now I want to take this off the loom. It's 6 inches long, which is kind of my standard loom hat size. So I'm just going to take about 12 inches of yarn tail and then cut it off. Yeah, you'll hear me say that a lot. Yarn tail, tail, yarn. Then I'm going to take my knitting hook and I'm going to slide it through the hoop. And I'm going to put my tail of yarn underneath it, pull it up through, and then I'm going to take the loop off of the loom. Alright, let me show you in depth again if you're confused. Alright, so I'm just getting my yarn square. I'm just going to take my hook, see, downward through the loop, pull it up a little bit, pull the yarn under, oh quick, pull it up, and then I'm going to do a quick whoop, 180 like I did there, pull the yarn through, and then pull the loop off of the peg. Now, if this is like way over your head, way too complicated, that's completely fine. Each loom set should come with a plastic needle. You can just thread the yarn into the plastic needle and then just put the needle up through each loop, take the loop off the peg, and then just do the next one. You know, just go up, up, up. I lose my plastic needles all the time, so I usually when I finish a hat, it's like, oh crap, I don't have a plastic needle with me. So here's how you do it if you don't have a needle. But I think in my other video that teaches you how to make the hat, I do show it with the plastic needle. So if you want to go watch that video, I think I used the plastic needle there, so that should give you a better picture. So again, I'm just making a hat. There will be a continuation of this video, Loom Knitting 201, that will show you how to do a couple more tips and tricks with your loom projects. I do have a ton of patterns and tutorials, as you may have noticed, on my channel page. Check them all out. Some of them are a lot more complicated than this one. I'm trying to make as much sense as I can and help you guys out and try not to confuse you. As always though, if you are confused, leave a comment below. I will get back to you within a week and just help you out. Now I'm doing the last peg. I'm just gonna take my yarn under, take my loop and pull it over, and then whoop, 180, pull it up, pull it through. Sorry I got off on camera here, but I swear I'm just shaping up the hat. I'm not doing anything crazy. I would tie a knot at the top of this, by the way, to secure it. And there's our finished product. You can make this little bracelet looking thing in the next video, but today we just made this simple hat project. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.